Next, we are joined by a congressman from Huntsville, Alabama, and he has been in Congress since really he was elected as part of the Tea Party Revolution in 2010. And he decided, well, actually, his wife decided that he needed to run for Congress after she read Mark Levin's Liberty and Tyranny. And I am so glad she read that book and told him he needed to run, because he is one of the most liberty-minded congressmen. So please join me in welcoming Congressman Mo Brooks.
All right, I'm going to get 90% of you mad. You know how in Hawaii they say aloha? Well, where I'm from, we say war eagle and world tide. So, all right, we got someone from Alabama over there.
We are Penn State.
Penn State? 1978, I enjoyed that Sugar Bowl game. Let me talk about the United States of America for a moment. I want to emphasize something. Our country, is the greatest nation in world history, and our country has held that lofty status for about 7 decades. Now, let's be clear about it. By any empirical measuring standard, we are it compared to every other nation that's ever existed on this planet. When it comes to military capability, no nation in world history has had the kind of influence that we have had militarily, the things that we can do as we fight for freedom. When it comes to wealth, no nation has had the kind of economy, the kind of economic growth, the kind of freedom that we've been able to enjoy in the United States of America as we earn money to take care of ourselves and our families. No nation has been able to match that in the history of the world. And when, of course, it comes to individual liberty, no nation has been able to match the kinds of liberties that we enjoy in the United States of America and have enjoyed for over 2 centuries. Now, the question is, are we just lucky, or is there something that put us in that position to excel? Where normal people, as a part of a framework, could develop a country that ends up being the best country in world history. And I would submit to you that our founding fathers are responsible for the country that we enjoy. And that there are a number of factors that make us who we are, that enable us to excel as a people and to create a great nation. One of them is we are a republic. That means we, the people, get to determine our government. We, the people, get to determine the direction that we want to take. We control our own destiny. We also have something that protects us, and that's called the Bill of Rights, those 10 amendments. Our founding fathers were very wise people. They understood the risk associated with dictatorships or kingdoms. They understood that a government that can give you everything can take everything from you. So they created the Bill of Rights to make sure that everybody understood that there were certain inalienable principles, certain rights that could not be taken from us under any circumstances, and they gave us the Second Amendment to make sure that no government ever did it. There have been many powerful nations in world history. Roman Empire, Soviet Union, very powerful. Various empires in China. What has distinguished us from them is simple: moral values. You have to have moral values as a compass to get you to do the right thing with the power that you have rather than the wrong thing. Our founding fathers were moral people. Our country has been established on moral values, thereby giving us the compass that helped us do the right thing with the power that we enjoy rather than the wrong thing. And I'd be remiss if I didn't add a 4th foundational principle, one that is embodied in freedom and liberty, and that's free enterprise. Succinctly stated, free enterprise says that you have the right to decide what you're going to do with your God-given talents, and you have the right with the money that you're able to earn to determine how you are going to best take care of your family. Now, in 2009 and 2010, when I was prodded and inspired to run for the United States Congress, when the Tea Party movement was huge, I looked at these foundational principles and I perceived that they were at risk. and they are at risk by the socialists who are in our own White House and in the United States Capitol. Now, fortunately, that socialist who was in the White House in 2009 and 2010 is no longer there. But they're trying to take it back, and we have to stop them. Now, let's look at our foundational principles and see how they're under attack today. We are a republic. Well, you know what the Socialist Democrats are doing? They're trying to take our own government from us. And they're trying to do that by allowing non-citizens voting power. And in fact, they are doing that in parts of our country. There are many Democrat-controlled cities that now make it lawful to vote even if you're not an American citizen, where illegal immigrants are allowed to vote, where lawful immigrants are allowed to vote. Don't take my word for it. Look up San Francisco. There is a conspiracy amongst the Socialist Democrats to take our own government from us by allowing non-citizens to control our future as a country. That is wrong, and we have to fight for our republic. When it comes to the Bill of Rights, these same Socialist Democrats are trying to undermine our Bill of Rights. Entities like Antifa, they are fascists. They are trying to deprive us of freedom of speech, and they do so behind masks as they use violence and the fear of violence to suppress the First Amendment's right to freedom of speech. We've got various entities sponsored by Socialist Democrats that are trying to undermine the First Amendment right to freedom of religion. Most importantly, they are trying to repeal the Second Amendment a little bit at a time, but ultimately the whole thing, in order to deprive American citizens of the ability to protect themselves, to protect their families, and most importantly, to protect the republic that so many Americans have fought and died for. When it comes to moral values, that compass that helps you do the right thing rather than the wrong thing, the Socialist Democrats are the amoral party. They are undermining traditional moral values on a daily basis. Here in the United States Capitol, here in state houses around the United States, of course, in Hollywood, we have to fight to preserve our moral values and the principles that make us who we are. But finally, when it comes to free enterprise, they want to get rid of free enterprise. They want to substitute dictatorial government for your liberty so that they can tell you what you can and cannot buy. Look at health care. They can tell you where you can and cannot work. They can tell you what you can and cannot earn. Socialism is an anathema to freedom and liberty. It is an anathema to free enterprise, and it guarantees one thing, that's economic failure and poverty. So we have to stop socialism. And as I close on this note about the battle of socialism, let's be mindful of Americans who have given their lives fighting for free enterprise and trying to stop socialism. Add the numbers up. Close to 500,000 Americans have fought in battles around the world, protecting liberty and freedom and free enterprise in the face of socialism in places like Europe during World War II with socialist Germany, with Vietnam, with Korea, and many other places. And finally, be mindful of what socialism is. First, they want to strip your guns from you so you can't defend yourself. It's happened in many places around the globe. Why do they want to strip their guns from you? Because socialism has an ugly history. It has a history of exterminating the populations of people who believe in liberty and free enterprise in their own countries. Look at the history of China and socialism. Over 10 million Chinese murdered because they disagreed with socialism. In the Soviet Union, over 10 million people murdered by their own governments because they wanted liberty and freedom. In Cambodia, roughly 25% of the population of Cambodia exterminated by the socialist Khmer Rouge in the 1970s. In Europe, with the German Workers' Socialist Party under Adolf Hitler, you had the Holocaust. You had over 10 million people exterminated in Germany, not counting the tens of millions of people who died during World War II. So, folks, you are the future of our country, and we need you to magnify your calling. We have to be mindful of the people who sacrificed before us, making America a great nation. We have to take up that charge, take up that mantle, and fight back, because I assure you, our enemy of free enterprise, our enemy of moral values, our enemy of the Second Amendment and the Bill of Rights, and our enemy of a republic, they have infiltrated us at the city hall level, at the county commission level, at the state government level, and here in Washington, D.C. So take up that fight. Fight for your country. Be mindful of your ancestors who made us who we are. God bless America, and with your help, we're going to keep it that way.
Great job.
Certainly.
Thank you. Aren't you glad his wife read Liberty and Tyranny and urged him to run for Congress?